Good morning, y'all. This is Kip here with Homestead Living. I got up early this morning to make breakfast for my love. Well, to help make breakfast. My awesome little Ester pie is gonna help me, and the boys will help me whenever needed. Mommy's gonna make the drinks because they're very specialized. But other than that, we're gonna do the rest, huh? Ester pie.
Yep.
Bless and love on Mommy this morning. Make sure you stay tuned for all the Q&As that are coming your way. Alright, turkey, bacon, scrambled eggs mixed together. That's all done. Alright, Ester pie, what's going on over here?
The tots are finished.
Tots are finished. Show these, Esther. Show everybody what kind of tortillas we're going to be using. Gluten-free, GMO-free, pretty good stuff. And what else we have over here, Josh? We've got avocado, sour cream, bell peppers, and cheese, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, cheese, salsa, ketchup, for those that are weird and won't like ketchup on their breakfast burritos. Are you one of the weird ones, honey?
I actually don't put it on breakfast burritos, but I do put it on my like taco type burritos because I don't do salsa.
What are you gonna go for first, Josh?
Probably gonna put a tortilla on, then put some sour cream on.
Hey, Abby. How you doing, sweet? I'll just go for the avocado. Here's the secret ingredient. Just use your hands.
Okay.
Secret ingredient. We used to just call them tater tots. Alright, so Ester pie got her egg, turkey, bacon filler in there. Now what you going for next, Ester pie?
Tots.
Tots. Placing them very strategically on her burrito. Joshy typically gets enough stuffing for 3 burritos on his first one. What is this chronic problem that you have doing such thing?
I don't know. It's called overfill your plate chronic disease.
Just perspective here, you guys. Here's my hand. That's a lot.
Yep.
See how well he can fold it.
It's working, kind of.
First bite of the breakfast burrito.
Good.
So good. Ester pie's first bite.
Alright everyone, it is a new day. We planned on filming our Q&A on Mother's Day, and I just decided to have some tea time with Ester pie instead and just enjoy the day. So we're back now to do our Q&A. Just really blessed on Mother's Day. The family made all the meals for me. So it was a really enjoyable Mother's Day. Hope all the rest of you mothers out there enjoyed Mother's Day and really just feel appreciated every day for all that you do to love on your family. So blessings to all you mothers out there. To my mom, I love you so much. My grandma, I love you too. I'm so thankful to be able to have this opportunity to raise these children and to love on them every day. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I love being a mother, and also wanted to say to all of you out there who have not been able to be biological mothers, but you still have a mother's heart, blessings to you as well. You are so valued as well, especially for the mothers. We need your input, we need your wisdom just as much as from other mothers. I really think that those who don't have their own children sometimes can see things that we moms can't. So blessings to all you other women out there who have a mother's heart and have probably spent a lot of time sacrificing and serving children and other families. So here I am this morning with Caleb. There was a question for him or about him, so I thought I would just ask him to answer that question for you. I don't recall who asked the question at this moment, but the question was along the lines of, when is Caleb going to move to his own plot and build his own tiny house?
Well, I'm still just planning it out and trying to figure out how I want everything built and set up.
Yeah, you're in the planning stages. And we've also picked out your plot, which is going to be, I'll spin around here. His plot is going to be just past the duck pond area, off in the trees over there. And you did just turn 18, and so you're pretty much done with your homeschooling. You've already moved on to further education this past year. And so you're also working on streams of income, huh? So in order to build a house and a homestead, you gotta have
Good income.
yeah, you gotta have a good income. So yeah, we're excited about all the plans that are coming together so far, huh? Got another set of little goslings on the homestead. They're so cute. Please be sure to stay tuned to the end of this video. We have a shout out for a wonderful new children's resource that's been created by a husband and wife who have just done a fantastic job. This couple doesn't have children of their own yet, but they obviously have a real heart for children. The wife has just got an incredible mama's heart. So stay tuned to the end. We want to share that resource with y'all. All right, our next question was from Eleanor, and probably a lot of you who are new to our channel have the same question. So it was about Esther Pye not having hair. She is healing from what's called alopecia universalis. Her older brother Nathan had the same issue, and he's already gotten his hair back. So we just totally believe that she is healed and that it's just a matter of time until her hair comes back in. The hair follicle cycle takes a long time, and so getting your hair back after losing it completely can take some time. So thank you, Eleanor, for asking. Thank you for those who care about Esther Pye. She does not have cancer and she's not sick. She is healed and the hair will be coming back soon. Right?
Yep.
All right, guys, it's a bit windy outside, so we came into our add-on here to tackle the rest of these questions for you today. So here we go.
Oh, I don't have my hat on. Oh no. See if I can think straight without my hat on.
You'll do great. Elizabeth asks, would you call yourself Christians or Jews?
Religious question. So that's not really so easy to answer because we've come so far away. The normal Christianity here in America, or all the Western Christianity, Western European Christianity, has come so far away from biblical definitions, which then makes it difficult.
Right.
Because, like in the book of Acts, you know, after the Savior or Messiah actually ascended into heaven, and then it was a little bit after that that the Holy Spirit came on the apostles and disciples. Then they started going out and spreading the gospel, and it wasn't until then that they started getting labeled with names. And one of the names they were labeled with was followers of the way. And then in the book of Hebrews it says we're sojourners, just passing through. So that's more likely what I would tie ourselves to, that we're sojourners passing through, that we're followers of the way. And our goal is to be like Yeshua, Jesus the Messiah. Then, as Paul said, follow me as I follow Messiah. So I hope that the Christianity of a sorts, Hebrew roots of a sorts, Messianic of a sorts, Messianic Jews of a sorts, hopefully of a sorts, were more like the believers in the book of Acts.
Right.
Than what's happened to the church at large today. I don't see the way they treated each other and the way they lived really closely demonstrated in the church today. So I don't want to really affiliate myself with that too much. but are Christians, you know, are all Christians out there our brothers and sisters?
Yes, if they trust in Yeshua, Messiah.
If they're truly Christians, then yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to cast a stone at that. We're just more so about really looking at Scripture, what Jesus, Yeshua, and all the apostles did. James, John, and Paul, what did they do? How did they live? What things of the Old Testament did they still keep? Because they felt it was necessary for them to keep it. And those are the kind of things that we want to do.
Yeah. And I guess I would say also add to that when you put a label on yourself and say that you are one way or another, that can often be misinterpreted and misunderstood depending on what the person you're talking to thinks about that title or that label. So I guess we try not to label ourselves too much because we don't want anyone to misunderstand our faith or misunderstand our Messiah, Yeshua, and what he was about.
Yeah.
So.
You know, he does not fit into a box.
No.
To define him and confine him and say what he is. You can do that generally, but really to put him in a box, he just doesn't fit there.
No.
And I don't think that anybody's faith really does fit into a box neatly. And it shouldn't.
Right.
So this next question is from Sandra, and she wants to know all about tea. Right? She says, how did you learn about good tea plants? Did you get it from books? How do you know when they're ready for tea? How do you dry them? So on and so forth. So, or what do you say to that?
Well, I've learned about good tea plants just by having a passion for gardening, really. I've been learning about herbs for years now, and now that I'm gardening as well, I'm just kind of getting experience with some of our favorite flavors in the plants that grow well here. And still have a lot to learn, but my favorite time to harvest tea herbs in the garden is in the spring when the herbs are really fresh and tender and just packed with nutrition. And so far I've been drying them in paper sacks, and if we have our cook stove going, that works really well because our house is really dry from the wood stove heat, and they dry in the paper bags really well. But if we don't have the cook stove going, which is going to be pretty soon here, I stick them in Kip's truck because it's a pretty just sealed, dry environment compared to the outdoor humidity that we have here in Missouri. So.
And warm environment.
And warm environment, yes. Shaking the bags every day is best when I do it that method, and they do eventually get pretty dry that way. You don't want to put them into a jar for long-term storage unless they're really, really crunchy and crispy, like really dry. If they have any little bit of give to them, feel a little bit bendy, they shouldn't go in the jar for long-term storage yet.
They should crumble right up, almost into powder.
Yeah, you should be able to just crumble them right up. And we'll get to some book recommendations here in another question that relates to someone else's question that will also give some ideas for just learning more about herbs. So.
How do you work your soil?
To grow plants.
To grow plants in the Ozarks. Who's this?
It wasn't a name. Whippet, W-I-P-P-E-T. So
this question's from Whippet about the Ozarks soil.
Yes.
Yes. You know what the best thing we grow here is? Naturally, the Ozark potato.
Which is rocks.
That's right.
We do what's called no dig. And that means we don't till our soil and we go up. So instead of digging down into all that rocky clay mess, instead we just smother out the weeds using cardboard or old feed bags, just whatever we have on hand. And that really only temporarily smothers out the weeds. So then the more you put on top of that weed barrier, the better. So most of what our beds have been filled with has been just free materials that we've gotten from other people. composted manure from friends that have goats. Most of it's actually from friends that have horses. So composted horse manure and hay mixed together. We did purchase an organic compost a couple years ago. And then we do put little bits of just bags that we get like from Home Depot or Walmart, but those are pretty expensive. So most of what goes into our beds has just been free materials from friends and neighbors. And every year we try to add an inch or two of compost just to keep fertility going in. I also add things like kelp, C90, which is just a sea salt mineral supplement that we actually give to our cows. I've put in some azomite as well. Sometimes they even add alfalfa pellets that we feed to our cows. Mix those in to add some extra nutrition. And then we have done compost tea in the past as a liquid fertilizer, but it's very stinky, so I don't do it regularly. But that's another option for building fertility in the soil.
All right, so next we have a whole bunch of questions from Gretel.
Right, so she wants to know book and website recommendations for gardening, homesteading, healthy foods, and children's books, teens books, homeschool curriculum. So
wow,
a whole lot of recommendations here. So I'm just gonna try and quickly go through some of these, but I will say that really I think the best way that you can learn is to find people who have gone before you and learn from their wisdom. Find, especially with like homesteading and gardening, find somebody in your area who's doing it, been doing it successfully. That's really the best way you can learn. So, all right, for gardening, I really like Charles Dowding. He has a website on YouTube and then also lots of books. I have his veg journal, which I really enjoy. I also like Lasagna Gardening by Patricia Lanza. I find myself going back to her book over and over again. I just like the way it's laid out, and she's got just a lot of information on herbs and garden plants, flowers, you name it. I also like the How to Grow More Vegetables by John Jevons. I go back to his companion planting charts over and over again. I should probably just print them out and hang them on the wall. New one that I love is called Vegetables Love Flowers by Lisa Mason Ziegler, I think is how you say it. She just really emphasizes the importance of flowers in the garden, which is right up my alley. I love flowers. And for a book that is just absolutely beautiful and you could just sit all day looking at the pictures, In Bloom by Claire Nolan. I love her book. It's so beautiful, and she has just a ton of information about flowers and how to use them in the garden. Let's see. Some other YouTube channels that I like are Laura from Garden Answer and Jess, Roots and Refuge. There's probably lots of others, but I go back to them quite often.
Am I Gardener or whatever?
Oh yeah, and My Gardener is another one that I watch pretty often too. Yeah, there's a lot of great YouTube channels for gardening out there, and finding people that are in a similar zone as you when you're looking at YouTube is good. Similar zone, similar climate.
Quick note, as of about a year ago is when I gave up on something.
What's that?
Okay, before that time, whenever Carrie would talk about things she wants to put in the garden, different flowers, all this kind of stuff, always my first question was, can you eat it?
Right.
Now, as of about a year ago, I gave up on that because of her flower zeal has just overwhelmed
Yes.
that even as a question anymore.
Right.
So I don't ask anymore at the first question. Can you eat it?
There are a lot of flowers that you can eat, so.
Yeah.
All right, for homesteading, some recommendations for books would be the Encyclopedia of Country Living by Carla Emery, The new complete book of self-sufficiency by John Seymour. The children absolutely love that one as well. There's great,
lots of pictures.
Yes, lots of wonderful pictures. The Independent Farmstead by Sean and Beth Dougherty. That's another great one about really a sustainable homestead, how to do things sustainably. Keeping a Family Cow by Joanne Groman. And The Complete Herbal Handbook for Farm and Stable by Juliette Levy. Those are good ones for if you've got cows. For chickens, we like Fresh Eggs Daily by Lisa Steele. She, I believe, has a YouTube channel as well. And then Anything by Joel Salatin. His books are fantastic as well. And for homesteading YouTube videos for channels, we like Justin Rhodes and Art and Bree. And The Fit Farmer.
Fit Farmer.
Yep, Fit Farmer. Those are some of our favorites.
Yep. And then if you want to add permaculture to it, Jeff Lawton, he has a YouTube channel.
Yep.
And it's spelled with a G, Jeff Lawton. And then all kinds of other, he has all kinds of other things.
Right.
Books that he recommends and all kinds of stuff, so.
Right. So moving on to health, healthy foods, nutrition, that sort of thing. I started with The Maker's Diet by Jordan Rubin. My mom gave me that about 18 years ago, something like that. And that started me on a journey of learning about natural health. Gut and Psychology Syndrome by Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride is a great one for learning about how to get your gut in health. The Herb Bible, Kip got me from Barnes & Noble probably 20 some years ago. And so that one I go back to over and over again. The How to Herb book is another great one for learning about herbs. Essential Oils, Ancient Medicine by Axe, Rubin, and Bollinger is great for anything related to essential oils. It's like you don't really need any other book except for that one for essential oils. And then on YouTube, Dr. Berg is a good resource. Dr. Axe also has a great website. I go to his website a lot as well. Oh, Nourishing Traditions. I should throw that in there as well. Nourishing Traditions by Sally Fallon is a great book that's full of recipes, and it's all on traditional, from scratch.
What about Marty or whatever? What's her name?
Oh yeah, online. Traditional Cooking School by Gnaufglins.
That's it. Is
wonderful. I was able to take her classes when we lived in Alaska. She's an absolutely great resource, so thank you, love, for thinking of her.
Yeah. My greatest resource that I can recommend is her.
Aw, thanks, Mom. All right. So moving on to some favorite children's books. Pathway Readers are great, as well as Bob books for some of the early reading. Patricia St. John books are wonderful. The Grandma's Attic series is fun. Lots of fun stories in that one.
Sugar Creek Gang.
Sugar Creek Gang, yep, that's a good one. The Imagination Station series is fantastic. And then some books that we like for teenage years are the Green Ember series by S.D. Smith, Douglas Bond, Faith and Freedom series, and Crown and Covenant series.
That's a good one.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed those. Another one that we really liked was by Chuck Black, the Knights of a Wreathed Tree series for teens. We haven't really done a whole lot for the girls because we don't have any teenage girls yet. But
well, hey, you can't move on from there without talking about Narnia.
Oh, of course, Narnia. That's kind of a given, though. Yes. All right. Let me make sure I got all of her questions answered here. Okay, Gretel also asked, does your family use video games? We don't really use them for anything other than just kind of a reward at the end of the day or after all the jobs are done for the day. And it's not every day because we have really horrible internet.
Yeah, we don't have any game console systems or TVs that they can play games on. They just have the computers. and
Yeah, so the boys like Minecraft.
so they can all be playing at the same time together in this
Creative world. They
video world. Yeah.
they get to create their own place. They don't play it very often, but they do that kind of as a reward sometimes. So
Yeah.
Okay, so favorite curriculum also Gretel wanted to know about. So I'll real quickly go through just a few things. For English language arts, we use Spell to Write and Read by Wanda Sinsuri, as well as the Wise Guide to Spelling that kind of goes along with that. And I don't do everything in those books. I kind of pick and choose. It's just very well-rounded. Basically, kindergarten through 12th grade, anything that your child needs for English language arts, other than, of course, reading books. For math, the early years, I did Right Start with the boys, and just recently we've switched to Splash Math for the younger years. And then moving on to the middle school years, I just haven't found much that I like for math yet, so we're trying this one. It's the everything you need to ace math in one big fat notebook. So this is this is what Nate's going through right now for middle school years.
It's a catchy name.
It is. And to go along with the high school years, I got this Math for Real Life, because none of the boys are super excited about math, and I want them to be able to see math as a tool for life. And so this is giving a lot of good examples on how to use geometry, algebra, and trigonometry. And then we've also used the Math Tutor. We get these off of Amazon to help with geometry, algebra, the high school level math, because I did well with geometry. I liked geometry, but not algebra. Neither Kip nor I are excited about algebra. So the Math Tutor videos have been helpful for that high school level math. So for science, we use a lot of Answers in Genesis products. And then this is a good series for the littles. It's a Go Science series. They have a bunch of videos and they're just really fun for the little ones. I'll try and leave links for a lot of this stuff down in the show notes below. And then for high school science, we love the 101 series. It's www.the101series.com. So far they have chemistry, biology, physics, and I believe they're working on earth science. It's not completed yet, so once they have that, we'll be getting that one as well. And most of our science is actually just a lot of hands-on and interest-based research and learning. So that's what a lot of our time spent for science is, just coming out of what the children are interested at the time.
Like bees for Joshi, and actually make sure you check out Thousands of Roots channel.
By the end of this week, they should have a video posted on the whole story of bees on our homestead and where we're at with that. That should be a fun one.
Yep, we're trying to take some forward steps in getting some bees here on the homestead. So.
All right, history. Kind of the foundation for our history, other than the Bible, of course, is the story of the world. And this is a 4-book series by Susan Weiss Bauer. And so this kind of just acts as our baseline, and from that we read other supplemental books and watch movies and look at maps. If you want to know more about the curriculum we use, you can check out our website, Common Questions, because I list some more information there. So check out the link to our website below. I think that answers all of Gretel's questions, so we'll quickly finish up here. Megan wants to know, are you going to get goats?
No way.
We had goats for a very short time, and goats were not our thing, so we do not plan on getting goats.
Goats are great if you have good fencing, you know, good setup. Now what we didn't know was that the smaller goats like that we got, they're very, very athletic, very agile. I mean, these little teeny goats, you know, that are like smaller than a medium-sized dog, or about the same size as a medium-sized dog. Them little things, they used to on our minivan. They would jump up, hit the bumper, the back bumper of the minivan, then use the windshield wiper on the back of the minivan to get themselves on top of the minivan and get on top of there and dance around.
Right.
The worst part though was that they would break into our garden, and it didn't matter what we did with the fencing.
No.
And they would go to our fruit trees, and it's the same leaves on the bottom of the tree as it is up higher, but they would ignore the leaves on the bottom of the tree and use those branches and break them on their way up to get to the leaves up high.
Right.
Needless to say, me and goats did not get along.
No.
Now the bigger meat goats, like boar goats and things like that, I guess, from what we've heard, they're not as bad. They're not as bad as far as being escape artists and things like that.
Right.
So if you have bushy areas that you can fence off with really good fencing, I would recommend the bigger type of goats.
Mm-hmm.
They're not as aggressively testing every single piece of your fence to try to get out, from what we've heard.
Yeah.
You want anything to that?
No, I just really like cows, so
Yeah.
cows are...
And goats, I don't like their eyes. Like Justin Rhodes calls them devil eyes. And I totally agree. So I would recommend sheep way before I would recommend goats.
Yeah. But for all you goat lovers, carry on. Enjoy your goats. All right. Megan also wanted to know why we moved to Missouri. Why Missouri?
Why Missouri? We actually did a whole video on that, right?
We did. Our other channel, Thousands of Roots.
Yeah. The quick and skinny of it is we were living in Alaska and we finally realized what we wanted to do. We wanted to become more self-sufficient, learn how to grow our own food, learn how to raise our own animals, and teach our children how to do these things along the way. And we tried to figure out if we could do it in Alaska, and we finally submitted to the fact that Alaska wasn't the best place to do that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So we took a year to pray and study the whole nation. Mm-hmm. One of the books we used was called Strategic Relocation by Joel something or other.
I don't remember.
And super helpful book. So from that book and from our own studying, we narrowed it down to Missouri and Idaho. And then when we looked at price, cost of living, price of land, these things, Missouri won. So then we started really looking in Missouri, and through a bunch of circumstances, I highly recommend you go watch that video of ours. This is where we ended up. We've never lived in one place as long as we've lived here.
Right.
Realize that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been here 7 years.
Yep.
So almost 8, actually.
And we're putting down roots.
Coming on 8.
She's got it.
Got it?
Then we just went out the doors and she held it so close quietly. She did a good job.
Yeah. All right, last question. This question is from Sean. How do you keep your cat from doing his business in your garden? We try to catch our cats if they ever are going potty and make it a negative experience for them. So if anyone is able to run out there and toss them out while they're in the middle of doing their job, it's not pleasant for them, and they've just kind of learned it's not a pleasant place. I try to just keep the beds covered as much as I can. So I'll, like this last winter, I planted a whole bunch of extra strawberry plants into some different beds because they don't tend to like the plants. The cats really just like where they can dig really easily.
They like the loose soil.
Loose soil, yeah. Mm-hmm. I've used things to cover, like landscape fabric and that sort of thing. If I know it's a bed that they're gonna really like, I'll just cover it for a short time until I'm able to put plants in it. And I try to keep everything planted pretty tightly, so if ever there's gonna be a little bit of a gap in between some plants, I'll put flowers in. Keep as many plants in there as possible. There's lots of other ideas that we've gotten over the years because people have left comments and videos about what they do. So you can stick sticks in the ground. I've never tried that. Some people use chicken wire or something that would, some kind of wire or something to keep them from being able to dig. But I think the best thing is just make it a negative experience for them by catching them in the act and kicking them out.
And create other areas where they can go easily. So like a sawdust bin, a good sized sawdust bin or something like that.
Yeah, we do have a lot of sawdust kind of on the edges of our composting areas, and so there are a few spaces where we just kind of let them go in those spaces, and we don't plant anything there or use that soil. So
Yep.
all right, that's about all of the questions for today. Thanks for submitting those questions to those who did, and I told you I'd share a great new resource for children. Take you inside real quick and show you that resource, and then be right back with you here. All right, so here it is, Little House Story Corner. James and Lee from Flea Ministries and Little House on the Mountain have put together this wonderful new channel, and they've already got, at this time, 5 videos up, and they're Bible stories as well as Little House on the Prairie stories that are put to cartoon and just read beautifully, and beautiful music in the background, and our children are already excited about these. This is a free resource on YouTube, and if you want to support them, they do have Patreon because it's a lot of work to put these videos together. So check out the links below. All right, make sure you go check out that channel and subscribe. Until next time, we pray blessings over you and yours.
And
whatever you do
Do
with
your
your whole
heart.
heart.
That's right.
Heart.